Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's broadcast of Notre Dame's and Chaminade's track meet. My name is David Galis, and with me today here we have special guest, one of the runners today for Notre Dame's team, senior Michael Macias. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Today's a great day. It's going to be all of the seniors here for Notre Dame, our last time competing on our home track. Last time for the jumpers jumping on our home sand, and it's a big day.
That's right, it is senior night for any folks wondering. And Michael, we know you've been here for 4 years now. This is probably one of your last races. How do you feel after 4 years of being here on the track team? How do you feel it's been overall?
It's been a journey. It really has. I don't know how many laps I've ran around here, but it's been quite a few, and I've loved every second of it. Uh, Racing, practicing, being just with all of the best people I've met in my life. It's really been a great experience.
And what are some of your most fond memories here, like things that you can remember?
Well, one of my all-time unforgettable moments was one day during spring practice my freshman year. I brought a bag of chips to practice, and I was eating them during the warm-ups. And Coach McNabb, our head coach, he stopped he stopped everyone from warming up, everyone from practicing. He took the bag of chips from me. He yelled at me in front of the whole team. Just basically to stop eating chips, and from there on, I've been called Chip. It's been my nickname at high school for the last 4 years, and that is one of my greatest memories.
That's a pretty big memory. We all know that Coach McNabb is notorious for messing around with the kids, and as you can see right there, you were left with an everlasting memory of being called Chip all the time.
Yeah.
And Michael, do you know what event we're on right now?
We're currently on event 10, the boys varsity mile. Currently in the lead, that's Justin Smith from Notre Dame. I've also I do recall our coach, our distance coach, Coach Lagos. He put a few of our freshmen, bumped them up to varsity to see how they compete today. Give them the extra pressure. So you can see number 9, Rami Saad. Behind him, Sean Conway, our 2 freshmen that were bumped up to varsity. And in the middle there, Matthew Hamada.
Yeah, he must have put a lot of trust in to see if he can test them for the fact that they're just freshmen right now and they have a long way to go to see how far they can get.
Yeah, he mainly put them in to give them that sense of the varsity pressure, to let them feel what it's like to actually score for the team. And improve themselves today.
Right, and as you can see right now, we have a sort of 2-pack going on right now. The top 3 right here, Justin Smith again leading, and then we have 2 of the Chaminade runners, and then another pack of Notre Dame runners, and then one last runner in the back. And right now we're on around 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You can see right now. Both of the Chaminade runners are closer to Justin Smith, but he seems to be having a good run right now. Michael, how do you feel about the run overall going on right now?
Currently, he's coming through the second lap, 600. Oh no, that would be the 1,000 mark, 1,050 at 3 minutes, which is pretty impressive. If he can hold that pace, he is on pace to tie his personal record of a 4:31.
Right, as you can see right there, the last person in that top 3 pack just lost a bunch of speed, as you can see. Now it's only Justin Smith in the last Chaminade runner, but as you can see, Justin Smith is just...
He's starting his last lap at 3:27. Oh, okay. He entering his last lap. His fastest final lap he's ever run is a 64-second final lap, meaning he'll probably run in the 4:30s right now, which is very close to his best. Yeah, but the third place runner from Chaminade, the mile is definitely a mental race. Once these two leaders started to pull away, you could tell he lost it.
Right. The rate, of course, the 1600 is a super mental race. It's not just about how you can physically hold yourself. It's really about how you can hold your mind together while racing for that or running for that long.
Yeah, and believing that you can do it. Like the kid in second right now, he's sticking with Justin the whole way. They definitely can run faster than what they're doing right now, but it's a mental race, knowing that he can stick with him.
And as you can see right there, Justin Smith crossing the line with a 434 low, 435 high. And as you can see, a pretty dominant win for him. And Notre Dame, again, leading the way. And as you can see, third place coming in now for Chaminade across the line. And now we wait for the rest of the Notre Dame and Chaminade runners. Great race by Justin Smith. Got more major points for Notre Dame again. As you can see now, the rest of the racers coming in.
Sean Conway, Matthew Hamada, Jack Maple, and that's all.
Next, we'll be moving to event 11, which is the 110 hurdles for Frosh Soph. And this will be a little interesting because the two racers are actually twins. It's Damian and Carlos Cisneros Coronado. And this will be a pretty fun event to watch because they're both really close together.
It's fun seeing them compete. They're always really even with each other. Can't say that one is consistently better than the other, but they are a very funny pair to watch.
Right, of course. They are twins.
And very
so,
talented too.
Right, they're so close to each other that you can't really tell until the race is almost at the end. As you can see right here, we're focusing on high jump right now. There's one of the high jumpers there, Train Ackerman, that's helping out with the setup. And looks like one of the high jumpers, or one of the jumpers, will be going right now.
I gotta warm up.
Oh, okay. Then go.
Do you want to say like something?
Well, it's been fun having you, Matthew, but as we all know, you are on the track team, so we are going to have to let you go for now so you can go warm up. Thank you for being here again.
Thanks for having me, dude.
No
Nice
problem.
talking to you. I'll probably be back, but yeah, I do have to warm up. Get ready for the Varsity 800, and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be watching out, and good luck to you in the race.
Thank you.
So as we wait here for more of the events to start, we'll have a little player profile. For now, one of the big things about track and field is that there's such a mental mind to it that a lot of it is just how much you can handle yourself, because it's long races. It takes a long time to actually like get through everything. It takes mental strength to get over the whole time you're doing track, which is very tough because there's a lot of long races, there's a lot of short races, but really the main thing is that you have to believe that you're fast enough to do it. And some people have that in them, that they just believe all the time that they're faster than everybody else. Some people, they have to grow into it. They have to be able to be better than everyone else. They have to learn how to be better than everyone else. And that's one of the things I think a lot of people try and implement into training, because that sometimes that doesn't just come with you. Sometimes you actually have to train yourself to actually do it. So looking at high jump or pole vault right now, it's freshman Fiona Watts right now. She didn't make those last two. Looks like she's just practicing right now, but she didn't make the last two. So we're looking for her to make one more. And pole vaulting is one of the harder events to do because you have to keep a really high resonance on you so you can hold the the pole vault together. But as you can see, we're on the hurdles right now. As you can see right now, and we just moved into it, so we weren't able to see everything. But it looks like in the nick of time, Chaminade and Notre Dame were very close to each other, but it looks like Notre Dame had won that one with Noah Saha getting the win in that one. And now we'll move on to girls 100 hurdles varsity with racers such as sophomore Amanda Leeds, senior Kaylin Vachakan, senior Emily Jenks, and junior Celesta Klink, and also for Chaminade, Jasmine Jackson. Hurdles is also one of the harder events to do it's uh, because it's not just running. Like you have to be able to get over. You have to be able to get over all the obstacles. I mean, not obstacles, the hurdles, because you have to be very fast, but you also have to have a high jump rate because you're jumping over and over and over again, very fast. So that's one of the harder things I think that people have to do. As we're waiting for hurdles to start right now, they're checking over the height. Let's look at one of the racers. Amanda Leeds, who's doing the 100 hurdles. She's also doing high jump in the 4x400 meter. She's been racing for about 12 years now. She also does club. All year she's done club as well. So since she was 4, she's been doing it. She wants to play. She also does cheer and used to do soccer, but now mostly she does cheer. So now we're almost about to start. They're doing one final call for the 100-meter hurdles. We also have one more racer, sophomore Gabrielle Jackson, who will also do the 100-meter hurdles with Varsity. She is on the JV team, but she will race with Varsity because there are no other JV hurdle runners. So they'll put her in with they'll put her in with the Varsity runners. So now, right now, they're almost done with the preparation for the hurdles. So right now, hurdles starting now. They're practicing right now, trying to see if all the hurdles are the correct height. It looks like they're almost done with it. And now we're off for the 100 hurdles. As you can see right now, Kalen Bachakan all the way in front right now, and in second, one of the other Emily Jenks. Looks like that'll be first for Notre Dame again. Two people in second for Notre Dame, and in third place, one of the Chaminade runners. And Kaylin Bashakan goes a 19 second point 39. So a great race from her. And now we'll be moving on to the next few events. Great race by her. As you can see right now, the racers coming back. Amanda leads there with bandages over her. She did pull something, so she has to wear that so it doesn't hurt her during the race. Now the next race will be the 400 run for Frosh soph, which will have Griffin Cleveland, George Matthews, Anthony Orozco, and Austin Driscoll from Notre Dame, and Vincent Reed from Chaminade. So we'll get that going soon. Right now we're looking at some of the racers practicing. Then here we have Chaminade. Chaminade is known as one of the better teams or sports schools for the Mission League. In that league, you have teams like Notre Dame, Crespi, Chaminade, Bishop Alamini, those included. But this is one of the Chaminade is a pretty strong team. They have a great football. They have a great football program. Their basketball program is also very well. And that's one of the main reasons you can tell that they're such a great sports school is because they've had a lot of success in different sports. As you can see, we're still waiting for the 400 run for the Frosh soph right now. Nothing much happening, of course. Track meets do take a lot of time, but those times do pay off because you get to see such amazing races from different schools. As you can see, we see some more of the runners practicing right now, and in the middle there you can see two of our NESN workers. You have senior Tyler Stewart all the way on the left in front, and also senior Matthew Macias, who was just up here, and he's prepping for the 400-meter run for Varsity at the moment. And we'll get to see him race later. These two are some of our hardest workers. They've been working for NDSN for 3 years now, so they've been very helpful overall. So we really thank both Matthew Macias and Tyler Stewart for their help on NDSN. And here we are with the 400 run on Frosh at the moment. And they're going around the bend right now. You can see George Matthews there. And next to him is Griffin Cleveland. And you can see they're going around the next bend here. You can see George Matthews taking a lead right now over Austin Driscoll. Or Griffin Cleveland, excuse me. George Matthews taking a big lead now. And he will take the win here. An easy win for him. Goes 43 seconds high. Great race by George Matthews there. Third comes Austin Driscoll, then Vincent Reed, and then the last is Anthony Orozco. Great race by George Matthews there. Just completely, at the beginning he was behind Griffin Cleveland, but in the end he was able to come back and win against them. Great race by George. And now we'll be waiting for the next event, which is the 400 girls JV. And as you can see, more people practicing. As you can see, we're starting the 400 meter run right now. As you can see right there, sophomore Frida Martinez, and then behind her, Kalia Asava, and then, behind her, excuse me, Jessie Rachel Demano. Frida Martinez on a big lead in front of her. It looks like it's only them two at the moment in the race. Frida in a big lead over Jessie Rachel Demano right now. And now they're onto the home stretch. Just one more straight to go. And Frida will go a 1 minute and 4 high, 1 minute 5 low, and will end up with another good race. Great race by Frida. That'll be another win for Notre Dame in the column. So now we'll move on to the 400 JV, which is two people, just two Notre Dame racers, Ben Langley and Cameron Wern. So it'll be another quick race, and then we can move on again to we're able to move on to varsity, get to varsity 400 meter runs, which we will see later. And that'll be the 400 run JV starting right now. So we'll see that right now. As you can see right there, that is Ben Langley in front with Cameron Wern following him. And Ben Langley now hitting the home stretch. Cameron Wern behind him. And Ben Langley will go a 49 low, 48 high. Great race by Ben Langley and Cameron Wern. So now we'll be moving on into the girls 400 run varsity, and we'll see how that happens. The races for the girls 400 freestyle is senior Yasmin Gehman, freshman Madison Dietz, and freshman Nia Brown for Notre Dame, and Olivia Tyler and Jennifer Uyanga for Chaminade, excuse me for that. And Nia Brown is also one of the helpers for NDSN. Low player profile on Nia. She is a sprinter. She's been racing for 10 years. She used to play club, or used to run for club for 6 years. She's also on the girls' basketball team, and of course, she is part of NDSN. So great stuff from her. She's been an amazing help for NDSN as well, coming in as a freshman and helping us out right away. So thank you again, Nia, for being such a big help for us. But now we will be close to starting the 400 meter run for girls in the varsity team. And that'll be the start now for the 400 run varsity. You can see Nia Brown in the lead right now, all the way on the outside. You can see right next to her, coming close to her, is in the fourth lane, Madison Dietz, then Olivia Taylor, and then Yasmin Gachman all the way in the back. As you can see now, Madison Dietz taking the lead in front of Olivia Tyler. And now it's two-legged race between both Tyler and Dietz, and looks like Olivia Tyler is taking the lead. But now Madison Dietz is taking it back into the home stretch. They're pulling with all their heart right now, and it looks like Madison Dietz will take the win there after a hard-fought race there. Almost losing out to Olivia Taylor. She will go a 58 high, 59 low. Great race by Olivia Tyler to get, or Madison Dietz, excuse me, to get the win there, and Olivia Tyler will take second now. Great race from both of them. It was so close in the middle, and it looked like Olivia Tyler might have lost to her, but in the end, she was able to get the win. So now we're going to wait on the 400 run varsity with racers Junior Ethan DeLeon in lane 2. In lane 3, Junior Coltrane Goring. In lane 4 for Chaminade, Ryan Goldman. Now actually, excuse us for a second, there is one of our star NDSN supporters and workers, Matthew Macias, talking to some of our crew here. We're so happy that we're going to be able to see Matthew Macias race in a little bit, where he will be racing in, I believe, soon. Soon he'll be racing. That's the big point, that you'll be able to see Matthew racing. That's really, he'll be racing in event 30, the 800 run varsity. So we'll be seeing him in a little bit. But right now, let's focus on the boys varsity run. Let's continue again. In lane 2 will be Junior Ethan DeLeon. In lane 3 will be Junior Coltrane Goring. Lane 4 for Chaminade, Ryan Goldman. Then again for Notre Dame, lane 5, senior Julian Reed. Then again for Chaminade, lane 6, Jackson Tillotson. And then in lane 7, senior Cade Harris. So we'll be starting the race soon in a few seconds. Let's see again. Most of the racers right now for the 800 and the 100 stretching out, and now we're starting the 400 varsity race. As you can see, Cade Harris all the way on the outside. Now we're moving in. You can see Cade Harris in the lead right now, but we're moving into the home stretch, so we'll see who will get out on the lead here. In the middle pack right there, the two Chaminade runners, Ryan Goldman and Jackson Tillotson, racing with Julian Reed at the moment, but Cade Harris in front. But now in lane 6 or lane 4, Ryan Goldman is taking a lead. But now Coltrane Goring in lane 3 will take the lead, going all the way from around the bottom of the pack to the front. Coltrane Goring on his home stretch, going even longer and longer away from Ryan Goldman, and Coltrane Goring will take a massive win for Notre Dame again, and that'll be around 49 seconds for the junior Coltrane Goring. And if we remember correctly, in the Frosh race, George Matthews, who was on the Frosh team, somehow got the win on a 40 seconds, which somehow is very amazing. He did so great in that race, and he mostly beat everyone, which is great. So maybe around the varsity time he should have been, but great race by him. So now we'll be waiting for event 21, which will have two heats, which is the 100 run for Frosh Soph. In the first heat, we'll have in lane 2 sophomore Aiden Shinfield. Then lane 3, Chase Darren. Lane 4, sophomore Nick Brenner. Lane 5, Zach Garcia for Chaminade. Lane 6 and 7 are both freshmen, Kyle Wynn and Anthony Spearman. As you can see right now, this is actually the line for the 800 run. As you can see, there's a lot of people in the 800 run. It's a very long race, but it's one of the more popular ones that people sign up for. So we'll be able to see more people. We'll be able to see that later on into the event or this track meet.
Triple jump run-throughs are taking place right now. Triple jump start at 4:50. Triple jump will start at 4:50.
As of right now, again, focusing on the 800 run. Not much happening, of course. We're just waiting for most of these people to sign up, and then we'll also be starting with the 100 run Frosh off, which is on the other side. Of course, you can't just start it where normally people start. You're gonna have to start it on the other side because it's just a 100 run. It's very easy, and they'll end at where most of the starting happens. Coming up next, for some of the events, we have, of course, the 100 run for Far Soft, then 100 run for girls junior varsity and boys, and then, of course, the 100 run for the rest of the teams, then 800 run, starting with event 26. And then right now, as you can see, the 100 run for Far Soft starting this first heat, of course, including for Far Soft, for Notre Dame, Aiden Shinfield, Nick Brenner, Kyle Wynn, and Anthony Spearman. And for Chaminade, it's Chase Darden and Zach Garcia. So we'll be starting that soon, and we'll be seeing how this race unfolds. You can see they're giving them the starters. Of course, you don't just start off like normally, where they start on or they just start running. You have to give them the starters because they need to have as much leverage as they can when they start. Right now we're close to the start of this 100 run frost off. And starting off with a 100 run for Farsov. It's a very close race, but you can see Aiden Shinfield going off with a start, and Aiden Shinfield will take a great win. And then in second will be Anthony Spearman. Third, Kyle Wynn. A great race by all of them. That'll be for Aiden Shinfield, a 12 low, or 12 high, 13 low. Great race by Aiden there. At the beginning, they're all really close together, but then at the very end, Aiden Shinfield was just able to pull away. Great race by all of them. And now we'll be moving on to the second heat, which includes freshman Henry Deakins, Jackson Stewart, and Kai Yamasaki in lanes 1, 3, and 5. And then lane 2 and 4 for Chaminade is Ryan Stafford and Nick Wynn. So we will see them race in a few seconds. And then we'll move on to the girls 100 JV run. And the race is off now. Looks like it looks like it's all of Notre Dame right now. And they're in lane 4. Nick Wynn or Kai Yamasaki will take the win for them. Great race by all of the Notre Dame runners. Again, great runs by all of them. Of course, Notre Dame's still taking points, so that's one of the main things to matter. So great stuff by them overall. So right now we're waiting for girls. So right now we're here for girls 100 varsity, for the 100 JV varsity. And actually we have another special guest joining us right now. We have one of the other runners for Notre Dame team, freshman Nia Brown.
Hello, everybody.
Nia, how's your day been going right now with this track meet?
Pretty okay. I just finished my race. It was a lot of pain, but I got through it successfully.
Well, that's great to hear. And right now we're actually starting with the 100 meter run for JV.
Girls, is this
Yes,
JV?
for girls, yes.
And they're off. We got Notre Dame sneaking up on Chaminade there. Is that Annabella? Annabella. Oh, looks like Notre Dame first, second, and third.
So Notre Dame will take another dominating win. Notre Dame's really been dominating this track meet overall. Don't you say?
Yep. Chaminade's been taking a few losses in the beginning, but we'll see what they'll do throughout the rest of the track meet.
So overall, as we know, you're a freshman right now. So
Yes.
this is your first year on the track team. How's it been overall, your first year here overall?
Overall, it's been different, but I'm adjusting to the level of play and the level of athleticism, and I'm kind of synchronizing and getting my feel. So doing pretty good.
Right, so it's a little different than mostly because originally sometimes maybe you just a lot ahead of the curve of a lot of people, but now it's more balanced, right?
Yeah, the athleticism at this level is more balanced out. There's no really, really good people anymore. We're kind of all fighting to win.
Right, everyone together. And right now for this next event, it's going to be event 23, which is the 100-meter run for JV with with all of the runners actually being of Notre Dame. There's two heats, so the first one consists of on lane 1 Justin Horn, lane 2 freshman Tate Hillman, then lane 3 freshman Sam Black, lane 4 sophomore Christian McDaniel, then Evan McClurkin, John Conti, Russell Diep, and then at the very end as well as sophomore Michael Aguirre.
You know, David, this is going to be a pretty interesting race because all the boys in this heat are jumpers. They all do long jump together.
Really? So this is one of the few events that they'll actually see each other not on long jump, right?
Yeah.
So right here we're almost to the start, and actually I have a very interesting question for you since you do run the little steps that they use. What are they used mostly for?
The steps for jumping or the steps for the starts of the race?
For the starts of the race.
For the starts of the race, it's kind of so you use the blocks as a way to push yourself to kind of, it's like a plane taking off. You know how
Right.
it starts gradually and then you get up? So this is to help with the speed.
And they're off now with right there Christian McDaniel taking a lead right now, but then Evan McClurkin and Justin Horn closing in on each other. It's a very close one, and it looks like really close there. We don't know exactly who won, but it looked a little bit like Evan McClurkin took the win there. It looks like it'll be Evan, Justin, and then Christian McDaniel
In the
taking
front.
the top 3 there.
Very close by the sophomores, correct?
Right, really close actually. At the beginning, it looked like Christian was going to take the win there, but then Evan and Justin were just able to catch up extremely well and very close race at the end. We still don't know exactly who won.
Those runners had great build up towards the end of the race. That's how it's supposed to work because a lot of people think that the 100 is a immediate sprint, but you have to build up so that you can take off at the end and so you're not tired for the
Right,
finish.
of course. So you can get that last little burst and you're able to get in front of everyone. So now, right before we go into the varsity races for this event, we're going to go into the last heat for the boys JV run, which is going to be for another all Notre Dame. So we have in lane 3, Wade Johnson, then freshman Daniel Levi, freshman Jacob Moore, and also freshman Adrian Aguirre, all racing.
Yeah, it's fun to see. There's 2 football players in this heat. It's fun to see football players doing something other than tossing a ball all year round and getting out on the track and putting up some points for the team.
Right, and one of the things special about Notre Dame is that one of the things that the football coach Kevin Rooney actually encourages the players to do is join the track and field team so they can get a lot faster for playing football on those as well, and just being a multi-sport athlete makes a person more well-rounded and overall.
Yeah, it's good to stay in shape for your specific sport.
Right.
And they're off.
You see
Looks
Jake Moore taking a big lead right now with Maurice Johnson in second, and then Adrian Aguirre in third. And Wade Johnson trying to catch up with Jake Moore, and it's very close.
Ooh.
And it looks like it was very
Ooh.
close, but we don't know exactly who won. It looked like it might have been
Maurice?
What probably was Maurice Johnson. Great race by both Maurice and Jacob Moore. It was so close in the very end that we can't tell again. Both times of these JV runners, we couldn't tell at the very end who won.
We need a photo finish.
Of course, right. Both of these heats were very exciting, actually. We're both having such close photo finishes there.
And it looks like coming up next we have the girls' varsity 100 meters.
And right now, both of these races right here, what do you like main takeaways that you saw from some of the racers?
I see that the people who get out way too fast lose their build-up towards the end, and the people who gradually caught their speed slowed down towards the end. So it looks like take slow and steady wins the race.
Right, because as you saw on the first heat, Christian McDaniel took a huge lead, but in the very end he finished third because Justin Horn and Evan McDaniel was just able to pass them because they had such a good build-up in the end.
To have a good start and to be able to maintain your speed is really, really important in the 100.
So now we're getting ready for this girls 100-meter run for varsity with racers Gabrielle Ellis, Alyssa Reyes, Maya Holian, Sarah East, and Kaylin Butchikan.
I've run with some of these girls. They're extremely fast, so it'll be interesting to see who pulls out of this heat.
Right, some of these are great track stars, so let's see how this race goes for them.
And they're off. Looks like Chaminade's pulling away.
Like Chaminade racer Alyssa Reyes is pulling very far ahead.
Ooh.
And a great win for
Looks like
Chaminade there.
Chaminade first, Notre Dame second, Notre Dame third.
Great race by Chaminade. That'll be one of Chaminade's first overall wins in an event for the entire meet. Great job overall by all the racers there.
Good race to her.
And then we'll have for the next event, it will be the boys 100 varsity run, and that'll have
First heat.
some interesting racers. Of course, junior Adam Horvath, sophomore Andre Bray for Chaminade, Frankie Washington, junior for Notre Dame Christian Grubb, for Chaminade Alex Okiburito, then Sean Guyton, and KJ Lattimore
From
finishing
Chaminade.
off for Chaminade. And actually, it's very interesting. Both Andre Bray and Sean Guyton are both two of the varsity players for the Notre Dame football team. So, of course, they must be pretty fast since they're already on varsity as sophomores.
Very impressive runner in this race, Christian Grubb. He actually went to the best meet that there was this season, and he came first in the 100 meters at Arcadia.
Really a great big ups to Christian Grubb for winning such a hard event there. It's
Tough competition at Arcadia.
Right, so we'll be able to see now how he piles up against the rest of these racers. The big favorite is Christian Grubb, but let's see if anyone can come out as a dark horse and win.
It's a very stressful thing, the starts of races.
Because everything has to be so quiet, you have to be instant.
Yes, and it's also hard to focus because you're anticipating the gun, so it's easy to false start.
And as you can see, they started off Christian Grubb, of course, the favorite there.
Pulling away
All the way. Takes a dominant win there.
Looked like Christian Grubb, then Adam Horvath there, and then a Chaminade runner.
And it looked like he went 10 seconds high, which must be pretty fast for a 100 run.
Very fast.
So a great run by Christian Grubb again. Great run by all the other racers. There's also Adam Horvath in second, as you can see there. Also Andre Bray and the rest.
It's interesting to see these runners running extremely fast because you know the world record for the men's 400 is 9.69.
Right, of course. And that was, of course, set by the greatest track and field
The fastest man right now.
athlete of all time, Usain Bolt.
Bolt.
And these are sort of, it seems very close to it, but of course, milliseconds are so close.
Yes, it's
in
the
these
time. It
races.
seems close in track, but everything adds up down to
Right,
the
of course.
millisecond.
So it might seem that it's very close. It only seems that it might be like a second off from being able to break the record, but of course, it takes a lot of strength to drop an extra second.
Yeah, some runners stay the same during their whole high school experience. You're lucky to become faster and not reach your ceiling so quick.
So now we'll go into the
Heat-
next event, which is Heat 2 for the 100 run, and that'll include senior Isaiah Townsend for Chaminade Matthew Taylor, then junior Mikhail Broussard, and also for Chaminade Kevon Assumption. So Notre Dame about to go off, or the Heat about to go off.
Very strong runners. You can see the build on these men. They're lifting constantly all year round for these races.
And they're off here. Mikhail Broussard with a strong start.
Chaminade, Notre Dame, neck and neck. Oh, but third is coming up to scoop it.
Isaiah Townsend getting close. And it looks like it was another photo finish for this 100 run. It looks like Isaiah Townsend might have been able to pull up in front and steal the win from Mikhail Broussard. Great run by all of the Notre Dame racers and also the Chaminade racer. And we go into the next event, which is something that we've been waiting for. We saw many of the racers signing up for it. It was the 800-meter run, and the first thing will be the boys Frosh soph. So we'll go with that soon. The racers include all freshmen from Notre Dame, Jackson Maple from Chaminade, Sam Shahinian, and also Brandon Tehan. Another freshman from Notre Dame, Remy Saad. Then for Chaminade, Leo DeSantis. Then Matthew Saad. Then for Chaminade, Jacob Pascasio. Then another freshman for Notre Dame, Sean Conway. And then Jack Skirmagor. And then the last member of the race in lane 10, which is Jake Malari. Sean Conway actually was one of the few freshmen that was actually moved up to race in the 1600. So we'll see how he goes right now when he races in the 800. This will be another long race. That's 2 laps around the whole track, correct?
2 laps. I used to be an 800-meter runner myself until I was moved up to a sprinter. It's a mental race, and I'm a very conscious runner. And you have to think about different points on the track where you want to speed up, slow down, or steady your pace. And it'll be interesting to see who pulls from this race. All
Right,
freshmen.
so maybe for some people that don't really understand track that much, what's the main difference between being a sprinter or a distance runner? Because some people just believe that just running is running, but there must be a difference.
Well, being a sprinter, you have less time to think about your plan with your race because it's such a quick, there's such a short time for it. But distance, it's all about how you steady your pace and how you continue to run. And then that last 150 meters on the track of any race is very crucial because that's the turning point. Anything can happen in that last 150.
Right, of course. And is it hard to stay focused on these long ones? Like sometimes you might lose focus and might start thinking about other things than just the race itself.
Exactly. As I said, I'm a very conscious runner, but when I do tend to worry a lot and space out a little bit. But it's hard to stay focused because you have to think about your breathing, about any injuries that you have while running, any pain. But you kind of have to shut out your mind and think about what you really want out of your race.
Right, of course. And probably because of me, I think a lot during most of my things. So it would have been very hard for me to do distance sprinting because I just think so much during a race that it would be very hard for me to stay focused on the race itself.
Yeah, it's a hard technique to follow.
And we'll be starting the 800 run soon.
The waterfall start. It's where everyone starts in a line, but as soon as the gunman says set, they all line up in a kind of curved line,
Right.
and then the race starts, and from there they can, as you say, waterfall into lane 1.
Right.
And it's kind of a tough thing to run in lane 1 because you tend to get boxed in around other runners,
Right,
and therefore
yeah.
you can't advance during the race.
So what do you think is the best lane to really start in? Do you think it's mostly the very outside?
I'd like to say that starting in lane 1 is it's not very good because there are people running into the lane that you're already in, and therefore you get crowded. Unless you get a really, really good start out in the race.
As we can see right here, we're starting with the 800 right now. With the top racer right now, it looks like it's Sean Conway all the way in front right now. And we'll move into here. As you can see, Sean Conway leading the race, and then all the other racers filing in behind him now.
Looks like it's Sean and Shane, actually.
So, right, so Sean Conway leading the race. Of course, this will be 2 laps around the whole entire track. So we'll see
How this plays out.
how this
Yeah.
plays out, right?
Coming in on the first 300 meters of the race. Looks like everyone has a good pace going. Smooth run so far.
It looks like Sean is actually slowing down right now. He's letting the Notre Dame, 2 of the racers right now, go past him now.
I like to think of it as putting gas in your tank for that last 100 meters, as I said before, because in this last 300 meters, you tend to get extremely tired, and so you have to kind of save up what you have to give it all you've got at that
Right,
last 100
of
meters.
course. So do you think Sean's trying to save energy right now, or do you think he's lost all of his energy, so that's why he's going slower?
I think that he's saving up his energy to be able to build and go in this last 100 meters.
Right, as you can see right now,
Chaminade.
the Chaminade runner right now, I believe that is Sam Shahinian, who's leading right now behind the Notre Dame racer, and then Sean Conway. Let's see who will win it out overall. It's very close right now, but as you can see now, getting closer to the home
Here we
stretch.
go. It all comes down to right now. Here we're going to this turn, the turnover point.
Looks like the Notre Dame racer is losing a bit of steam, so this means that the Chaminade racer,
He's putting in some turnover. Let's see what happens.
and it looks like Chaminade will take the win in the 800 run for Frosh Soph.
I think you're right, David. I think Sean lost it a little from his tank there with his first 400.
Right, I thought at first that he was going to be okay, but then at the very end you saw that he started to lose a little bit of steam, and it didn't look like he was just losing. It didn't look like he was just saving it. It looked like he was just getting very tired. So that was just something I was
But when it
thinking
comes
about.
down to it, it is an extremely hard race, and we have
Right,
to
of
commend
course.
anyone who does end up running and finishing this race.
Right, we do applaud everyone that races in these long races like the 800 or the 1600. So then we're going to move on into
Girls JV.
Girls 800 JV, which will have sophomore in lane 1, sophomore Sophia Sadid. Then for Chaminade, Kelsey Garcia. In lane 3, freshman Lila Harvey. Then sophomore Megan Trebosi. Then senior Elizabeth Gonzalez. Then freshman A. Roberts. And then for lane 7, Fate Granados. And then finally, closing out on lane 8, sophomore Allison Credell. So this will be another great race.
It's interesting to see people crossing over their main sport, like Faith. I play basketball with Faith, and Sophie Shadid and a bunch of other of these runners. They're mainly cross-country runners, and they run track to stay in shape.
Right, of course. That's one of the big things I think a lot of people do for track and field is they mostly do it for staying in shape. Is this one of your main sports? Is this what you want to focus in more? Do you want to focus more into basketball, as you said?
Well, I've run track my entire life, and coming into this midpoint of my life and deciding what I want to do, I want to kind of spread out my palette and to be able to pick what I want to do. I don't want to be restricted to be able to do one thing.
Right, of course. So that's why you're spreading it out more into sports like basketball and right here in track.
Yep, it's been a pretty successful freshman year for me.
Right. Did you make it onto the junior varsity or the varsity team for basketball?
I was on the varsity team for basketball.
That sounds amazing for you. Must have been. in great race. But now we're going to start with the 800 run for girls for JV. Right now we
Looks
can
like
see
Lila Harvey in the front out there.
leading in front of the Chaminade racer Kelsey Garcia. And then behind her, Elizabeth Gonzalez. And then as they turn the corner here, we'll be able to see the rest of the runners.
Also, David, today we've got on this back turn that we're watching right here, we've got some restricting winds, which was hard for my race. It's hard to run against the wind because everything counts during these races.
Right, of course. Every point in the race counts. As you can see right now, looks like Elizabeth Gonzalez is going to pass Lila Harvey for the lead of this 800.
Look at those girls smiling. I mean, at the end of the day, track is extremely competitive, but you have to have fun with it.
Right, of course. With every sport, it's not just about the competitive spirit, it's about how much fun you have. So as you can see right now, coming into the last stretch for this first full lap, Elizabeth Gonzalez taking a good lead. Then Fake Granados, and then Lila Harvey, and then the rest of the Notre Dame racers, and the Chaminade racer as well.
I'd like to see what Elizabeth does in this next lap.
It looks like Fake Granados is actually catching up really quickly to Elizabeth Gonzalez. It's looking like Faith is going to use a lot of her energy right now to pass her. And as you can see, Fake Granados has now caught up all the way to Elizabeth Gonzalez and is now caught up to Elizabeth.
Let's see if Faith can hold her position.
All right, of course, as you saw there, originally Fate was in the middle of the pack, but now she's come out and is completely dominating the field right now. She's doing amazing work at the moment.
It's all about your build-up.
Right, of course, and now we're gonna be see almost the home stretch of this 800 run. It looks like Fate Granados is gonna take this win over Elizabeth Gonzalez. Great run by Fate. Into the home stretch now. And Fate just taking one final strength and being able to pass now the finish line. And she'll pass the finish line with around a 2:48 high. Great run by Fate there. And then Elizabeth Gonzalez will take second. And then in third, freshman Lila Harvey. Great race from all of them. It's a very hard race, the 800. So great run from all of them that they were able to get through that. And now the next event is going to be the boys 800-meter run for JV, which has in lane 1 Jack Fogg, lane 2 Charlie Vandervault, lane 3 Tomas Montero, lane 4 Stefan Yu, then lane 5 Jack Radigan, lane 6 Armin Armenian, in lane 7 Augie Santino, lane 8 Joey Malham, lane 5 Caleb Branim, and then lane 10 Arun Das.
It's fun to see fellow classmates in an element other than the classroom. Because here at Notre Dame, we are brainiacs, but also we can kick butt on the field.
Right, of course, and actually, Tomas Montero, one of your closer friends, right, Nia?
Yeah, Tomas and I are pretty close, and he's a pretty good distance runner, so we'll see what he does in this 800.
Can you talk a little bit about how Tomas is just off the track himself?
Tomas is a great guy. I mean, at Notre Dame, there's a lot of compassion and a sense of inclusion, and I feel like you get that from pretty much everyone, including Tomas and most of the people in this heat.
Right, of course. And now we're going into, I started this, as you can see right now, Jack Fogg leading. And then
Runner from Chaminade.
right now leading, I believe that is Charlie Vandervault, who's leading overall now.
And we can see
into the into the first stretch right here.
We can see Santino there in the mix next to Arun.
And right now, actually, for Chaminade, it's first and third. So Charlie Vandervalt and it looks like Stefan Yu, both racing right now. And it looks like the Chaminade runner, Charlie Vandervalt, is taking a big lead over Jack Fogg, who's in second right now. Great run by him right now.
Big lead. There's two different ways to run the race. There's to get out and hold your position, and then there's to save up and then take the race at the end. So we'll see. It looks like he's taking that first strategy.
Right, and it looks like he's just going to use all of his energy and
hold his position, but with holding your position, it's extremely hard because you've used most of what you have for the whole race.
Right, of course. So now he must be a little tired from the race. So we'll see.
Looks like he's gonna sit in the turn.
Looks like he's really taking a big lead here. So it looks like not really much left for someone to catch him at the moment.
Big lead.
Right. Jack Fogg in second didn't make that turn until that very moment right there.
And who's that behind him, David?
That's Jackson Stewart right there. One of the...
Representing Notre Dame.
Yeah. So that means he was able to pass whoever was in third at that moment. So great run by him as well.
Great run. And soon we have coming up one of our colleagues, or one of our NDSN colleagues, Michael Macias, running the 800, the boys varsity 800 meters.
That's right. That'll come right after the girls 800 run varsity, which will be right after this. But as we come to the end of this JV run for the boys 800, it will be first Chaminade, Charlie Vandervalt.
Chaminade with about a 50-meter lead.
Of course, way in front of Notre Dame, and he will take that win. Great run by Charlie Vandervalt, and you'll see here in second, Jack Fogg. And then the last person for third will come in right there. That'll be Jackson Stewart coming in third. Great run by everyone there overall.
As we finish off this race, what race do we have next?
The next race is going to be the girls 800 run varsity, which will be very exciting because most of it, of course, is Notre Dame girls. And then after that, we'll be able to see one of our colleagues, of course, Michael Macias in the 800 varsity. It's actually two of our colleagues. It's Michael Macias and Tyler Stewart. Both of them will be racing in the 800 varsity, but let's focus on girls 800 varsity right now.
Right now we have one of our, I believe, nationally ranked runners, Mariah Morrow.
Who will be actually starting in lane 1, and then in lane 2 it will be Lauren Dang. Lane for Chaminade, lane 3, Tyler Langley. Lane 4, Alina Carranza. Lane 5, Michelle Sugimoto. Lane 6, Lacey Nealon. Then lane 7, Emily Aguilera. Lane 8, Sofia Cabral. And then lane 9, Blatenade Henny.
Again, David, in this race, lanes do not matter. It's all about your position you get when you take off on the race.
Right, of course, because in the end, everyone is in one lane at the end because it's just an endurance race.
Yeah, and I've seen Mariah run this race several times, and she gets a really great start and has an amazing finish. So she's very tricky with her run, as I like to call it. She's very
Right,
strategic.
of course. And as you were saying, Mariah Morrow, one of ranked racer nationally, she must be very fast then overall.
I believe she's ranked 15th. She's ranked 15th.
So almost top of the leaderboards.
High on the
great,
spectrum.
Very great from Notre Dame. And those will come in later. We're almost ready for this JV 800 girls right now, or varsity 800 girls, excuse me. And they're off now.
They're off. Looks like Mariah's getting a pretty good start, so she doesn't get boxed in there.
Right, of course, but it looks like the racer next to her,
Also from Notre Dame.
Tyler Langley, I believe, is catching up to her. And it looks like they'll go racing side by side to start it off.
Stride by stride, which is a very, very dangerous way to run because you often tend to focus on the person next to you's legs and how they're running and not focusing on your tempo, which is extremely hard to pick up and change afterward.
Sometimes you could see it as a kind of, you could say, scare tactic, because if they're focusing on that, then they're going to try and not hit you, which means that you can go faster than them.
Exactly. Your speed is different from the person's speed next to you, so paying attention and focusing on how fast they're running, you may not be as fast as that person, and you might tire yourself out in that case.
Right, of course, because they're trying to keep up with them and not let them pass you, but sometimes that might be the best option. As you can see right now, it's a head-to-head battle between Mariah Morrow and Tyler Langley at the moment.
Beautiful
Great
first
racing by
350
them.
meters into the second lap.
And then in third, actually, in that little pack right there for the top three, it's Michelle Sugimoto as well, who's in that sort of pack. But now it looks like Mariah Morrow is taking a big lead over Tyler Langley. It looks like Langley's getting a little tired from that first half, trying to catch up with Mariah with her.
As I said before, it is hard to run next to people, but also running without people is hard also because if you're running for a time or a specific mark that you want to get, it's hard to time yourself and pace yourself against other people because usually when you have people running faster than you want to strive to be near them or beat them even, and it's hard to do that by yourself.
Right, of course. So as you can see, that's taking into effect right now because Tyler Langley is not being able to catch up to Mariah Morrow, and looks like Mariah Morrow will be winning this race overall. But of course, anything can happen. So we're on to this home stretch right now.
Let's see. Is she going to pick up or is she going to keep going?
Looks like Mariah Morrow is picking up the pace now for this final stretch. The real race is actually for second and third right now, where Sugimoto almost was able to close up on Langley, but it isn't going to look like her efforts are going to be enough. So Mariah Morrow will go a 2:29 overall. So great race by her, and it'll be an all Notre Dame top three with Mariah Morrow, then Tyler Langley, and then Michelle Sugimoto coming in for that top three.
Well, next we have the boys varsity. Let's see what happens.
Right, of course, and it'll be two of our very special athletes, Tyler Stewart and Macias, who will be racing in that event.
In this heat, we have Michael Macias, Walker Duche, Matthew Hamada, Christian Simone, Tyler Stewart, Rex Helm, Timothy Turley, and Justin Smith.
Of course, and there's a few Chaminade racers, but mostly we'll be focusing on Notre Dame. As you can see, they're about to start off.
There go the warm-up clothes. They're getting ready to run.
Of course, and this will be the last for the 800 before we move into hurdles.
The 300-meter hurdles,
Of course.
which I gotta say is an extremely hard race because while sprinting, it's a far distance to be sprinting and jumping over hurdles at the same time. A lot to focus on.
Right, of course. So we will see. And so soon we'll see the 800 start going off right now.
It seems like there's going to be only one heat of the 300-meter hurdles at each level, other than Frosh off.
And they're off now. And it looks like Michael Macias will take the lead straight away, as you can see. Right away, he's able to pass all of the racers and get into first.
Michael has big expectations for himself in this race.
Right, of course, Michael has always been a very hard worker, not just for track and field, but also for NDSN. He's been one of our biggest helpers overall for the last 4 years that he's been working. So big ups for Michael Macias for being able to deal with both of those different activities that he's involved in.
Yeah, he is an extremely hard worker, and it's funny getting to see him on camera because he's usually behind the camera with us.
Right, of course. So, again, big shout-out to Michael Macias for this run. As you can see right now, it's a top three run right now.
Looks like
It's a
Michael, and then there's Michael, and then it looks like there's, I believe that's,
We believe that is next to him, Matthew Hamada. That's going to be
that's,
Timothy Thurley and Justin Smith behind him
yeah,
right now for second and third. But now it looks like there's a Chaminade racer in front of him,
coming in for
which
third.
is Rex Helm.
And then behind him, another colleague, Tyler.
Tyler Stewart was actually one of the big helpers this year. He helped a lot with the basketball season when we needed him most because a lot of announcers had to
Yeah, he's usually sitting in our seats announcing the game.
write, of course. So, again, big props to Tyler. But as you can see here, let's focus again on Michael Messia. Michael taking a big lead now.
Coming in the home stretch.
Of course, and you can see, but
Last 50
you
meters.
can see Timothy Thurley actually catching up to him. Let's see if Thurley can actually beat him. And very close right there. But it looks like Matthew will take the win there, going at 2:03. Great run by all of them. And then in third will be Rex Helm. And then in third will be Rex Helm. And then in fourth, of course, our other colleague, Tyler Stewart. Great stuff overall by all of the Notre Dame runners and Chaminade as well.
We're seeing great stuff from our team.
So our next race will be the 300-meter hurdles for Frosh Soph for boys, which will conclude of Damien and Carlos Cisneros Coronado, the two twins, and also George Matthews, who is the big winner in the 400-meter run for Frosh Soph as well. So we'll be able to see that race later on.
George is a very impressive sprinter coming off of a recent injury and going through that injury and still running and getting back to good health is, again, very intimidating and very hard.
Right, of course, but he was able to do it. He was able to come back and he was able to win the 400 run by a very large margin. So great stuff by George to be able to come back and win that.
And actually, in his first race coming back from his injury, he actually PR'd in the 400 and ran a 54.6.
So you could see that Matthews has done very well past this injury. Maybe you could see that when he got that injury, he said to himself that he needed to work even harder. So maybe he just saw that he just needed to work a lot harder, and he was able to finally come back and be able to win overall. Because you can see that he's a lot stronger than he was before the injury.
He actually obtained his injury hurdling. He hurt his quad going over the hurdle, which is, again, extremely understandable, which is why we runners have to stretch and warm up properly. Very, very, very crucial.
Right, of course. But soon we'll be able to this race off. This will be a fun one because it'll be between all sophomores, and actually both Damien and Carlos. Sometimes it's a little hard to see the difference between them sometimes when you see them running.
Yeah. I don't know them personally, but I have stuff.
Of course, some people say that they can see, to the normal eye, it's sometimes hard to see the difference between Damien and Carlos, as you can see right here. Just to clarify, Damien is all the way on the right and Carlos is the one on the left. So that's for anyone that needs clarification on which one is which.
Warming up, getting ready to start.
Let's see right here, almost ready for the start of this race.
Gonna be a close one. All really great sprinters. We'll see. We have one of the hurdlers that's supposed to be in this race, Derek Harvey, also known to his friends as Trey. He recently rolled his ankle and injured himself, so he cannot run today, unfortunately.
Well, we'll have our praise for him so that he can get back to health and be able to race soon. As you can see, we're about to start.
On the marks. You can see the runners jumping in the back. Gotta stay warm.
Right, of course, you never want to stay cold because that just keeps you off your game. And now you can see they're off now.
Here we go.
And here they come for the first hurdle. All of them clear it well. Of course, all the sophomores in front at the moment. Carlos keeping up in front, but now it's going to be a three-legged race between all of them.
Looks like Damien taking the lead. George close by his side.
And George being able to jump that last one looked like he was able to get over that. But it looks like little by little you can see that George is just having a lot better jumps than Damien.
Oh, he lost him on that hurdle.
Right, Damien was able to get over clean on that one.
You know, David, this is George's first hurdle race after he's been injured.
So this has been great by him. And very close right there. That was very close. You can't really tell who won that one. We'll ask for that later. But great race by both George and Damien. And you saw there in third coming in was Carlos. Great race by all of them overall. And then, so of course it'll be a Notre Dame all top three. So then we'll be moving on into the next race, which is the boys 300 hurdles for JV, which is one person.
One
Keanu
person?
Flores, it should be. Or that was one of the other races for Frosh Soph as well.
No, it looks like that's junior varsity for boys.
Right,
Sometimes they, actually, yeah, this runner has run by himself several times because he's the only one at that level that runs this particular race.
Right, of course. So we'll be able to just focus on him at the moment.
Again, this is extreme. It's really hard to run by yourself because you don't know how fast you're going. You don't know how slow you're going. You're not gauging on everyone else. It's kind of up to you and what's in your head.
Right, of course. Some people say that it's the best because it's just you, so you have no competition or anything, so you can just feel yourself out. But some people, as you said, it's harder to gauge how fast you're going.
I mean, a lot of people take it as an easy out and tend to slow down since they're unopposed and just take the first place. But those who want to strive for more and get a really, really good time have to, you know, kind of gauge and push themselves when there's no one else around them to kind of push them.
Right, of course, one of the main things, you always want to push yourself against your opponents so you can go faster than them. So great stuff.
Something my parents have told me since I was young. Your
Right.
biggest competition is yourself.
Right, of course, that can work in both ways. You could say that for the fact that that when you're racing yourself, you're basically of course racing yourself. So that's one of the bigger moments. So actually, we're going into
Looks like our sheet was wrong. There are two other runners from.
we're actually moving on to varsity teams. It looks like it'll be Noah Saha, Xavion Perkins, and Tyler Blaney right now. What are looking like Tyler Blaney all the way in front, both of the Chaminade runners, and then Noah Saha for Notre Dame.
Our mistake, night
third.
fans.
It seems like the JV runner had also run with the Frosh Soft, but
Let's see what he's got left in his tank.
So now Xavion Perkins actually taking the lead. Then Noah Saha passing Tyler Blaney for second. And looks like Noah Saha is trying to catch up, but it looks like Xavion Perkins is just too far ahead for him. And that'll be another Chaminade win in recent times. Great run by Xavion Perkins right there.
I was paying attention to the hurdles earlier, and Xavion actually won his 110 hurdle race. He actually won that one.
So great overall running from Xavion. Overall in the day, he's been running very well. But right now, we're going to be moving on into girls 300-meter hurdles varsity, which will include Gabrielle Jackson, Kaylin Bachakan in lane 4, then Jasmine Jackson in lane 5, Emily Jenks in lane 6, and Amanda Leitz in lane 7.
Yeah, we've got two seniors in this race.
So this will be their last race overall. And, of course, it is senior night.
It is senior night, so this is their last time running on this lovely field of ours.
Of course, so it's a big moment for a lot of these people, and we'll see how they fare on this last race of theirs.
Kaylin's actually attending Notre Dame College next year. Unfortunately, she won't be running there, but it is cool to see people from Notre Dame go off and go to college at Notre Dame.
Right, of course, great stuff by Notre Dame itself. Great from Emily Jenks to going to Notre Dame College, and now will be starting soon. for the race. They need a few last checkups for the hurdles race.
Yeah, the girls, even though we'd like to think that everything's equal, the girls do run on lower hurdles than the boys.
Of course, some people say that's not exactly what they would like, but that's just how standards go on track and field rules.
Yeah, and I'm actually in Kaylin's last 300-meter hurdles race. She actually cramped before the first hurdle and couldn't finish the race. So seeing her today and having the courage to get out and run is extremely brave of her. Last 300-meter hurdle race in Notre Dame.
So big props to Kaylin for this last race of hers.
And it looks like, is that lane 7? That's lane 7. Lane 5, Jasmine Jackson. She actually won her 100-meter hurdles heat earlier. I think it was 110, my bad. 110 hurdles earlier. So she's got some wheels on her. And then
We'll be able to see if Jasmine Jackson will be able to win again on another hurdle race.
today. Here we go, on the marks. And they're off.
It's a great start by all of them. They're going up to the first hurdle now, and everybody's able to clear it
Cleared.
easily.
But Chaminade's out with a really good lead.
It looks like that's Jasmine Jackson, who seems to be getting off to a very well start for this 300
And she's
hurdle.
off, and Kaylin's close on her shoulder. It's easy to be fooled by the stagger, but they're actually running neck and neck.
As you can see right here, Emily Jenks almost passing over
100 meters, Kaylin. Let's see what she's got left in this tank. Last race.
Jasmine Jackson and Kaylin now very close to each other. Kaylin getting off to a sort of lead, and it looks like Kaylin
Is going to take it. Last race. She gave it all she gave it all she got. Good job to her. Props to her.
Kaylin will take the win there in front of the Chaminade racer, Jasmine Jackson. Great race by overall all of them. And the next race will be the boys 200-meter Frosh soph, which will be another good race. And probably one of the big things is what's your favorite event to run?
My favorite event to run. I said before my favorite event to run was the 800 meters when I was able to run it. I liked how training for the 800 and running distance and practicing distance gave me the speed I needed to sprint a 400 meters. But since that long distance training was taken away from me, it's kind of harder to speed up and hold it. And it's also a new thing for me.
Right, of course. Of course, you were a distance runner, but now you sprint a lot. So, is there something sort of special event that you like to do more now that you're a sprinter?
Well, when I told Coach McNabb that I was not a sprinter, he used the reasoning that I'm a long jumper. I'm actually a long jumper, which is the event where you it's called a horizontal jump because you run and then you jump into the sand pit. And he kind of used my build-up and my acceleration as an excuse to make me a sprinter. And I think it's been pretty a good experience to see both sides of the being able to run as a sprinter and a long-distance runner. So it's definitely different, but I think I'm growing as a runner all around.
Right, of course. The fact that you originally were a distance runner, now that you're a sprinter, you're good on both levels of both long distance and more short distance.
But I'm never going to stop growing, though. I know I'm always going to have to get better.
Of course. So now we're going to be almost ready for the first heat of the 200 meter run for Frosh soph, which includes for the first heat Griffin Cleveland, Nick Brenner, Vincent Reed, Aiden Shimfield, Zach Garcia, and Austin Driscoll. And we'll continue with that later.
I actually went to grade school with one of these boys, Austin Driscoll. He's a pretty heavy sprinter. He's extremely fast. And the guy, you can see them walking over, and the guy standing right next to him, he's also extremely fast. So it's going to be interesting to see who pulls out of this 200 meters.
So we'll see exactly who will be able to win this event.
Also, Austin, and there has actually been an epidemic of shin splints going throughout the track team with the sprinters and their spikes. It's hard to run with spikes because the walking and running with them is uneven to your foot, so it causes irritation in the shin area, and then most runners get shin splints. So you can't see it in their socks, but they're actually all wrapped for shin splints.
Right. So have you gone shin splints over the last few races, or that?
I've never had shin splints before. I feel like it's all in how you warm up and how you prepare yourself for your race. But it's easy to how do I say this? It's easy to understretch and not get your full preparation for your race.
Right, and as you can see here, we're almost ready for the start of the Notre Dame of this run for Frosh Soph.
There they go. They're on their marks. We got sophomore Nick Brenner there in third lane. And they're off. Griffin Cleveland there in the second lane. Austin Driscoll out in the side. Lane 7.
Austin Driscoll having a very good start, but as you can see right there, Aiden Shinfield taking over. Look at him run, just able to take over this whole race.
Let's see if Austin can hold it. Come on, he got it.
And Aiden Shinfield will take a dominating race, and it looks like in second, Austin Driscoll will get it. But amazing run by Aiden Shinfield. He was in the middle of the pack, and then all of a sudden he just came out and won first. Great race by Shinfield there.
Over David.
Of course, you saw that at the very end of the turn. Shinfield was just completely in front of everyone. He was just blasting by everyone. So great race by him overall. But now we're going to go into the second heat, which has Henry Deakins, Jackson Stewart, Ryan Stafford, and Kai Yamasaki.
All freshmen.
Right, of course. So we'll see.
And all football players.
Right, of course. So we'll see how that race goes overall. Of course, most football players. Some football players, or most really, like to do these track and fields so they have something to So right now we're going to go into the second heat of this 200 run, which will, of course, will start soon.
We'll see what these freshmen got.
Right, of course, if they are really the future of the track and field program and what they have to say. So we're gonna start with this race. And they're
off. Looks like only Ryan and Henry are going to run this race. And see what they've got. Ryan's out in front. He's pulling away from Henry quite a bit. Let's see what he's got. Last 100 meters. There he goes.
Great stuff.
Great stuff. Great stuff from Notre Dame. And, you know, either way this race goes, it's points for Notre Dame.
Of course, and that'll be Ryan Stafford taking the win
against Henry from
Frosh right there. Next will be JV, and actually for being here, and we're actually going to come back to senior Michael Macias. I'm sorry. So, you just raced, right?
Yeah.
The 800 run, and you won, right?
Yeah.
How's that feeling right now after that race?
You know, I started out pretty hard just to get ahead of the Chaminade guy, but coming around like the first 200 meters ish, I looked back, I saw both of my teammates behind me, and I figured, you know, it's my last race, or last 800 here on my home track. I'm just gonna treat it like a practice, take it nice and easy, and have fun while I did it. So that's what I did. I ran the slowest race of the season, but I had such a good time doing it,
And it
running side by side with my teammates.
It looked like so much fun because you were all smiling at the very end, and it was great to see this last race for you overall for track and field. And also overall, you also had another colleague, NDSN, Tyler Stewart. How do you feel he did on the race as well?
Tyler ran a 2:11, which is one of his best times of the season. His all-time best is a 2:06. It was actually the first race of this year, but 2:11 is a very good time for Tyler. Very proud of him today, and yeah, I'm glad he had a lot of fun like I did.
Right, of course. But now we're going to go into the next event, which is the girls' 200-meter run for JV.
Yeah.
With racers of Naneka Gebamundu, Frida Martinez, Imani Thomas, Annabella Salmone, Natalie Gibson, Jessie Rachel Demano, Cynthia Cruz, and Lila Kuczynski. As we start off here, you can see in the very front Naneka Gebamundu, but you can see now Frida Martinez taking the lead from them, and Frida getting off to a very good run, just blasting by everyone. And it looks like Frida will take a dominant win here. Another win for her. She had also won another event before this. And she will take that win. You can see she is extremely happy about how she did. Greeted by her teammates, all happy by how she went. Great stuff from Frida Martinez.
That was a good performance, a 28.4. That's very hard for JV girls to keep up with that.
Because as you saw there, she did amazing there. But now we're gonna move on to our next event.
JV boys 200.
JV boys 200 with racers, of course, for lane 1, Adrian Aguirre, lane 2, Evan McClurkin, lane 3, Dylan Verabian, lane 4, Christian McDaniel, lane 5, Michael Aguirre, lane 6, Russell Dieppe, lane 7, Wade Johnson, and lane 8, Justin Horn. And actually, two very important things. Actually three. Evan McClurkin, Justin Horn, and Christian McDaniel. They all had an amazing race on the 100 run that got extremely close. It was basically a photo finish between Evan and Justin. So how do you feel this race will go now that they're doing a 200?
Yeah, obviously their muscles are going to be a little bit tired, a little bit sore from their 100. But they've had just over an hour since then to recover. They should be feeling pretty refreshed. And I think that I think because of the wind, the way it's blowing towards the finish line right now, they get to run with it in the final stretch. It's really going to help them with their times in the 2.
And they're off now, as you can see, Justin Horn all the way in front from the outside. But you can see Michael Aguirre in second there. Then in third, Christian McDaniel. So you can see Justin Horn trying to get that win, but Michael Aguirre catching up to him. Then you can see in the frame, Evan McClurkin getting to third. Michael Aguirre very close to Justin, but it looks like Justin will take the win there.
Yeah, that was close. Justin had the lead most of that race, and Michael came through right at the end. He's starting to catch him, really using that win to his advantage, but don't know if it was enough to catch up.
Another great run by Justin Horn. He had won the 100 run as well as now the 200. But it was also a really good run from Michael Aguirre. That was very fast. He was just about to catch up to Justin. If he had a few more yards, he would have been able to pass him.
Yeah, just if that was a 210-meter race, I think that would have gone to Michael Aguirre. But
right, of course.
He didn't get out fast enough. Still, he took the second place, which is 3 points for Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame got all 3 podium spots, so we took all 9 points.
All right, of course. So next event will be the girls 200-meter varsity, with lane 1 being Maya Hullian, lane 2 Alyssa Reyes for Chaminade, lane 3 Madison Dietz, lane 4 Olivia Tyler, lane 5 Gabrielle Ellis, lane 6 Sarah East, and lane 7 Yasmin Gechlin. So we'll see how this race goes. One of the big races, Olivia Tyler, she had come in second in the 800 for girls varsity. So we'll see how she does in this 200 run now. And they're about to start here.
And they're off.
As you can see here,
Looks like Maddie Dietz is taking the lead. Off to a great start with the inside lane, able to pull ahead. See if she can keep up that top speed the rest of the 50 meters.
she looks like she's keeping that top speed very well. As you can see, she kept that stride going all the way, and that'll be another win for Notre Dame. She'll take the win for girls varsity there. Great run by her overall. Now, one thing I asked actually of Nia while she was up here, are you a distance runner or a sprinter? Because some people might not know the difference overall.
I'm actually neither. I'm a mid-distance runner. Mid-distance is usually classified as the 400, 800, and 1600. And distance is classified more as the 1600 and 3200, or even 5K. And sprints are obviously the 100, 200, 400, 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles. But yeah, I'm considered a mid-distance runner because my main event is the 800. I also do the 400, and sometimes I even do the 200.
Right, of course, but great stuff. Great stuff overall.
Thank you.
You've been a big runner for Notre Dame for a long time. And now, was that your last event, the 800 overall?
No, I am anchoring the Varsity 4x4 tonight. Closing off the night. That's where I'm gonna give it everything I have because Chaminade does have a pretty good 400 4x400 meter team. I'm hoping to PR today. My best currently is a 49.82. If I can run in the 49s, I'd be very proud of myself. What I was able to do tonight. Yeah, and that was another reason why I saved my energy in the 8 and had fun. Because I knew my teammates were next to me, but tonight in the 4x4, it's just going to be me versus Chaminade, and I hope I can give it everything I have.
Right, of course. It's been great that you've been with us. And now we're actually going to go into boys 200 run varsity. In lane 1, it's Coltrane Goring. Then lane 2, Sean Guyen. Lane 3, KJ Lattimore. Lane 4, Christian Grubb. Lane 5, Alex Okiburito. It looks like that lanes 3 through 5 are actually not racing this, so then it'll be lane 6, Kate Harris, and then lane 7, Frankie Washington for Chaminade. So most of the runners, so some of the faster runners, Christian Grubb, KJ Lattimore, and Alex Okiburito.
Yeah, Christian is our fastest 200 meter runner. I'm actually not sure what happened to him. He seemed to have a great 100. I think he ran in the 10 seconds at 10.9.
Right, of course, he did very well on that race.
He's insanely fast. He seemed to be fine, so don't know why he's not in this race.
Well, maybe he just wanted to take some time off. He saw that there's actually been a lot of skips overall, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the ladder of the meet, because they could have waited for another event because they just didn't care about this one as much. So now we're going to the start, and they're off. You see there Frankie Washington leading at first because he's on the outside, but now Kate Harris, and there's also Sean Guyen, catching up right now.
I know Sean has a very, very high top speed.
Sean Guyton is one of the fastest players on Notre Dame football, so we'll see how he ends this. It's very close right now.
Sean and Coltrane, I think Coltrane might have got that.
It was very close, but maybe we'll get some confirmation later. Great run by all of the Notre Dame racers. Overall, just able to race and get so close to each other overall in the end. Because, of course, milliseconds are everything so in racing, so we'll be able to see how this ends. And now we go into the second heat of the 200 run. It'll be in lane 3, Ethan DeLeon. Lane 4, Ryan Goldman. Lane 5, Isaiah Townsend. And then lane 6, Jackson Tillotson. So we'll see how that ends overall. But great run again from Sean and Coltrane, getting very close to each other. It's like they're practicing at the moment for their start.
This is actually Ethan DeLeon's first 200 in a very long time.
Really? So what was the reason for him not doing the 200?
He's on our 4x4 team, but tonight he got moved from the 4x4 to the 2 because it's been, as I said, a very long time since he did it, and he does prefer the 2. It's just he's very talented in the 400, so we use him on the 4x4 team. He's usually our starter or our third leg, and he's very good at it. But tonight, Coach McNabb gave him the privilege of running his favorite race, the 200.
Right, of course. But does this mean that he'll also be running the 4x400?
No, not tonight, because there's almost no break in between. He just has the 2 mile, which it takes maybe 15 minutes, and he'd have to be back on the line for the 4x4. So tonight he's out of the 4x4, just doing his favorite race tonight.
Right, of course. So great stuff for him because he has been a great runner for Notre Dame this entire year. So now we're almost gonna get into the start. And they're off. And it's the 2 Chaminade races with Ethan DeLeon. And it looks like Ryan Goldman taking a lead right now over Jackson Tillotson. Great running by both of the Chaminade runners. And it looks like it'll be a dominant run. But it looks like Ethan DeLeon will try and get that second place. Very close. But it looks like Jackson Tillotson just had more in him.
Yeah, he couldn't.
He was able to make it.
He tried to hawk him at the end, but he just didn't have enough in him. And the Chaminade runner felt him coming up and wasn't willing to give that up.
Right, of course. Great stuff by both of the Chaminade runners. They were able to close it out and win that race. So next is actually one of the longest races in the event. It's a 2 mile. And one of the things we would like to talk about is about Coach McNabb. Coach McNabb is the head coach of the whole track and field program, and he's been an amazing help overall for Notre Dame. He's been amazing overall as a player and as a coach. He also is one of the coaches for the Notre Dame team, or the Notre Dame football team. So he's overall been really good to the whole team. And mostly he's been really helpful. One of the things that people really notice about him this year is the fact that he actually would ride his bike into the boys' locker room and would fish out any person that's trying to skip. So he's really dedicated to the track and field program and how much success he wants to put into it. So great stuff by him overall. Just being able to be such an amazing coach to the whole program. And as of right now, there's a lot of commotion because we're coming up to sort of more of the end of it. We're going into the 2 mile right now, the 3200. So we will see how that happens later on when everyone is ready for it. There's actually a big number of people. There's 31 people overall, and it's a mixed race. So we'll have a lot of people racing in it, and it'll be an amazing race. So right now we're coming up to the beginning of this 3200. This is the longest race of the entire season or the entire meet overall. And you can see as they start here,
All check in, please. 4x4 relays, check in.
and now this will be a very long and enduring race. Probably one of the big things about the 3200 is how much mental strength you have to have overall to be able to actually control yourself in the race. And we're gonna see right now the first few racers coming in. It'll be one of the Chaminade racers, Denise Kane, and there'll be two more of the Notre Dame racers coming through. And the Chaminade right now, the Chaminade racer, Denise Kane is going off to a very nice start. He's really leading the pack, but he might be just trying to get rid of all this energy so that in the very end no one can catch him. But sometimes that's not the greatest idea because in a race this long, anybody can catch up to you. It's not very hard to catch up to you when you lose all your strength. So it's going to be a long and hard enduring race, but we'll see how it overall goes because of course anything can happen in this kind of race. It's just such a long and enduring race that sometimes people only do this event and don't do any other event. So we'll see overall how it goes. So right now we're looking at some of the people coming up from the back at the moment. Right now just more racers, as you can see. There's not going to be much commotion at the moment because this is one of the last few events. So sooner or later, everyone's going to head home and finally end because this is one of the last events of the night or the meet. So we'll see how this ends overall. As you can see, of course, we're focusing on Denise Kane at the moment. He's been very good at the moment, just being able to lead in front of everyone. So we'll see how he ends this overall. It's going to be a big race for him, so we'll see how he ends up because it's going to be a big long race. It's a very hard enduring race. So we'll see how he ends up on it. So as of right now, of course, this is one of the longer races, so it's going to be a very hard, enduring, and long race. Mentally challenging overall. This isn't a very easy race to do. So we'll see overall how the race plays out, because this isn't overall a very easy challenge. And right there, as you can see, number 11, Jack Radigan. And as you can see right there, one of the Chaminade racers able to take over. You can see we're getting close to a sort of finish. So as you can see right here, another focus on number 11, Jack Radigan. And doing great. They're all on lap 5 at the moment, so great overall. We're trying to see how they end up. So mostly the race has been doing good, and right now joining me is Peter Smith. Peter Smith, how's it been going right now?
Good. We've been producing this game. It's been a fun track meet. And look at number 4.
Right, of course. It's a very hard enduring race, so sometimes people show out the most emotions. And you can see right here, number 6, sophomore Tomas Montero, coming up to the first bend. As you can see right here, this Chaminade racer just completely dominating at the moment. He's been doing amazing for the race. So great race by him.
Bit. Looks like that's the last guy, but number 15.
And
that's Jake Malari.
the number 1 could actually pass him. And as you can see, here's another little pack of 3 people right here
On
in
the
this
backside.
3200. This is a very long race, so it's going to be very hard and enduring overall for these people to do this.
All right, well, David, thanks for joining us. We're going to switch announcers for the 3rd time today. Keep it interesting. Nia,
Hello, everybody.
welcome back. Thanks, David. See you tomorrow.
We got Chaminade here out
Yeah.
in front.
Nia, have you run a 3200 before? Because
I actually have.
2 miles is pretty tough.
When I was younger, I broke my leg, and in order to build up my strength and rehabilitate myself, my mom had me run the longer races.
And tell us a little bit how tough it is for someone to run this fast for this long.
I kind of can't explain it to you, Peter. It's outrageous as it sounds. 8 whole laps around the track.
Yeah, and it's so tough for this guy. You know, my friend Michael, he was here earlier. He always says that when he doesn't have competition, it's very hard to run fast because there's no incentive. And this guy has just an incredible lead over the rest of the pack, and he's still running hard.
Yeah, it seems like he's in for a good time.
And he's finishing over on the left-hand side.
We got a Notre Dame running passing, Tomas. And then we have Rami. And it looks like a few of his friends.
Yeah, a painful race, but a lot of these guys probably do cross-country.
Yes, a lot of people run track in order to stay in shape for cross country or vice versa.
Yeah. Well, there is the runner there. See if we can get his name as he comes around.
What lap are we on here?
I think number 7. We came a little late to the party, but we will certainly have some of the biggest races coming up, and that is the 4x4 relays.
We have the big indication, the bell, which means it's the last lap.
So, 7th lap.
This is the co-ed race, which means they are ranked separately, but they all run it together since it's such a long race.
Yeah, just to save time and because there's so much area on the track for everyone to run on.
Yes, but we still are running two 2 miles. So the 2 miles is 3,200, and this is our first race, and we have another one right after this one.
Well, the next races to come up are the boys 4x4 meter relay for Frosh Soft, and then all the way to boys varsity, the last race of the day. And it looks like he's going to be finishing here.
Oh, there's the bell. One more lap.
Sorry, one more lap. Yeah, really pushing a lot into this, maybe trying to beat his best time.
Yeah, it usually also comes down to the last 100 meters, as I was telling David earlier. We'll see what he does. Oop, it looks like that Notre Dame runner's going to get lapped.
Yeah, it's too bad, but this guy is on an absolute tear. See as he comes back around, and we'll stay with some of the other runners.
He's got a bunch of stamina.
Tyler Stewart talking to us about the 4x4.
Here we go, the last lap coming up for this last runner. My bad, first runner. Here he comes, last 150. Looks like he's going to kick it up and run a little faster.
All right, here he goes. We'll
Last
try to
100.
stay with it.
It's a big accomplishment to come to an end to this race because an average 2 mile is about 10 minutes.
And the push at the end, absolutely fantastic form by that Chaminade runner.
Dominating the competition.
Let's take a look. There's some of the other runners. Our producer telling us that there was a little bit of confusion. We apologize for following, but there's so many runners on the field, it's hard to follow who exactly is in what lap.
Yeah, it's easy to miss your place and paying attention.
Yeah, as a spectator. There's number 2 on Chaminade's side. That's Denzin K.
Coming in this last 300 meters. And you say we have the 4x4s up next? It's traditionally the last race in the meet. Yeah, it's the last race of this meet. We'll see who wins in the end. But it looks like Notre Dame's been putting up some pretty good points all day today.
Sorry about our chuckles. We dropped some water on the floor. Yeah, knocked it over, but it's all right.
And there it is. More runners finishing.
Well, Neil, what has stuck out to you today watching all these Chaminade and Notre Dame players right here?
Well, what stuck out to me was how consistent the people who run different races are. I mean, no one's... Well, for me, track, a lot of people think that it's rough and it's terrible and it's really bad to run track, but so it's really good to be surrounded by really passionate people who love to run and who love to win and come out on top.
Yeah, Notre Dame won a lot of these matches, but even going in, knowing that they have the win in this track meet, you still see all of them trying very hard in their individual events, which is a good sign for Coach McNabb and his team.
Yeah, and it's been very encouraging on the field. I've seen some Notre Dame and some Chaminade athletes hugging and being just really nice to each other.
Yeah, as we finish the 3,200 meter race, and up next, the first of the 4x4s. So we're going to go with Frosh Soft 4x4 first. That's the JV, the boys. Then the junior varsity girls, and then finally the boys 4x4 meter relay verse for the varsity. Yeah, and it looks like the girls are going to run JV and varsity together. Maybe they weren't able to qualify enough teams.
Oh yeah, most of the time they combined when not enough runners from different levels can run. So they usually combine it because the 4x4 is a handoff race, and it's also individual as it is a team effort, and you don't want to let your team down. And so having a few of the younger level runners run up is kind of intimidating, and it's kind of hard, and it's cool to see that teamwork and that push for everyone else to help everyone get through the race together.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what the team dynamic is like in terms of JV versus varsity and how they practice and the choices of who runs.
Well, this year in my transition from basketball, my first meet, I ran JV, but after that I took my place on the varsity team, And I have to say that both levels are they're both difficult in their own way, but I find that the more difficult thing about running varsity is yourself. Like I intimidate myself a lot looking at juniors and seniors who've been running for 4 years, and me, little old me, the freshman coming in and trying to win a race, and that's the hardest part about it. But other than that, it's all in your head. You can, if you're put on the team, it's because the coach knows you can perform at that level.
Well, Carlos Montero for Notre Dame just passing the finish line, as well as Jack Fogg.
And we got Sophie Shadid here on the back turn.
Yep, the final looks like a couple more runners behind her. One or two more Chaminade, and that will finish us out for the 3,200.
Bringing it home, Sophie.
Very strong runner.
Again, it's a very, very tough race to run. Very tough.
Yeah, and for a lot of these people, this is only their first year running, so as the years come, they'll get more and more competitive.
Yeah, that's what I like to tell myself, because I tend to be disappointed in my performance, but I keep telling myself that I still have 4 years to get better and to win the same races.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Looking forward, what do we have after this meet in terms of schedule?
In terms of scheduling, next week we have Crespi and Louisville, so that will be interesting. And I'm not sure what we have the week after, but Crespi would be interesting to see, because if you didn't know this, Crespi's track isn't a full 400 meters, it's 375. So when you think you're done, you have 25 more meters to go.
Yeah, that's one of the things Michael was telling me today. The reason why we have to have 2 cameras to cover this track meet. Sorry about that. The reason that we have 2 cameras to cover this track meet is because if you've been to Notre Dame Stadium, the stands are actually inside the oval. The reason for that is they wanted to make the track a full 100 meters long, as opposed to, what Crespi has. I guess 75. You said
375.
375. So 400 meters rather.
Yeah.
And Olympic sized as opposed to non-Olympic sized, and honestly, it makes for better football watching from the away side too.
Yes, yes. Having the track be behind the bleachers has always been a tricky thing. Even when I was running, when I was younger at Notre Dame, it was always a cool thing to come and run at this track, because I felt it was different. So I liked running here.
As our feed cuts out, we apologize for that, and we're back. So here we go, the final races of the day, and first we have the boys 4x4 meter relay for Frosh, Soph, and JV. 4 teams: Notre Dame, Chaminade, Notre Dame, and Chaminade.
It's cool to see these 400-meter sprinters come together to run this race together, because as you saw earlier, they can run it separately and they can perform and do it well, but they can also come and do it as a team and come out on top also.
It looks like the girls are lining up. Interesting, so maybe a couple more races to go. Let's see.
This looks like another 3,200.
Interesting. We'll see how they start. I think that's called a waterfall start, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's a waterfall start, because after the gun is shot, all of the runners go from whichever lane they started into, and they waterfall into lane 1.
Looks like the attendant speaking to the girls there before they start their race, and a couple more races it seems that they have to throw in. There's Mariah Morrow, the senior, one of the fastest in the state, and one of Notre Dame's top runners. So
Looks like it is a 4x400. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we can't clearly see from across the field.
yeah, so the 4x4, as opposed to a 4x2, right? That means that everyone starts in the same area.
Yes, they all start in the same area because it's different distance. Because, as we like to call the 200, the candy cane is only half of the track, so they all start at the beginning, and it's a stagger. It's a stagger. That's what a lot of people get confused with the stagger, because a lot of people think it's unfair, but in the backstretch, it all evens out, and you can clearly see who's ahead and who's behind.
Yeah, so the backstretch, certainly we're going to be looking to see who's winning this race. Now, what might have happened, and sorry for the confusion, is that sometimes this happens, they take out maybe some teams from the Frosh Soph, and then they combine the JV and Varsity 4x4. So now the girls 4x4 meter relay, JV and varsity running together. Notre Dame, Chaminade, Notre Dame, and Chaminade. Lane 4, you see Notre Dame. They are about to start their race.
This is how the 4x4 works. So the first leg runs all 400 meters in their lane, and then the second leg, they run the first 100 meters of the turn, and then
here we
on
go.
the other
We're off.
on the other side, the second leg can then cut into the first lane.
Okay, sorry about that momentarily, but we're back. 2 Notre Dame teams ahead, at least initially, but as you said, only until the backstretch do we know who's really leading this race as they come around.
This looks like Elizabeth and I'm sorry, I blanked on her name.
It's all right. Notre Dame clearly ahead. Maybe Chaminade has pulled their teams. We didn't see at the start.
Notre Dame clearly ahead in this race of 2. Here we go, coming down.
30 seconds in. All the way now, and it looks like the varsity team is ahead, which is not surprising considering they're versing their own JV team.
Coming in at 300 meters. Here she comes down the backstretch. Let's see what she do.
Well, look out for in this race the anchor Mariah Mora on Notre Dame. She's the one to watch, one of the fastest in California at really any distance she runs.
She's a very strong runner. You can also catch her in cross-country season.
Yep.
Here's Alina, second leg.
So that's definitely varsity, right?
Yes, I've ran on a 4x4 actually with Alina at Arcadia, one of the best meets that you can run in the year.
So there she comes around the corner and the back turn. She looks to be having fun, and you know, I got to say, watching a lot of Notre Dame meets over the last 4 years, a lot of them, the runners have had a lot of fun because we have been so far ahead. And that is just a testament to the quality of program which Coach McNabb has put together over the last 4 years.
There's a smile.
For the camera. Here she comes around the back stretch, her 400 meter done, and we're about halfway through the race. Notre Dame clearly in the lead, but Chaminade doesn't appear to have entered any teams, so not much competition.
It's still Notre Dame points, which I believe Coach McNabb is extremely thankful for.
Yep.
And here she comes, her last 100 meters.
Just an incredible run by Notre Dame as they continue. That's 2:02, around 2:02. The time clock started a little late. Of course, this is unofficial time, but still pretty good times. Around the 1 minute mark is where you want to be. And
There, a clean handoff. And here she goes. She's out pretty fast. Let's see if she'll be able to maintain it. Again, both teams are distanced. My bad. Both girls on these relay teams are distance runners, so 400 seems like a small race to them, so we'll see how fast they can get through it.
walking across the track. And continuing to run the third leg now as she comes around.
The third leg, I'm usually third leg. It's a hard leg to run, especially when there is competition next to you, because the third leg is where the race is made or broken, because it's right before the anchor leg, and if you fall too far behind, or if you're extremely far ahead, it's decided right here. And the anchor leg, it's extremely hard to take up a big lead in a 400 race because it is considered a sprint.
Okay, and here comes the final pass, the final turn. Mariah Morrow on the final lap of the race and the final lap of girls track this evening.
She's out.
And look
Good
at her
start.
go.
She has really great form coming around the track. Really great form.
On the backstretch, now we switch to our third camera. Golden hour, so some great shots coming out of this camera right now.
Focused on her run. Here she comes, passing by our camera.
3:45 the time, so a pretty good split, and she'll be able to get it down, maybe run around a 53, 55 second time for the final lap on a day when she really has no competition.
Here she comes down the backstretch. Let's see if she'll speed it up. And it looks like she will. Here she goes.
We're over 4 minutes now, and the Notre Dame girls varsity team looking to take their final race of the day.
You know, we have to congratulate Mariah because this is our senior night track and field meet. So this is Mariah's last time running at home.
And the time around 4 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Of course, an unofficial time, but still a good one for Notre Dame girls as they look to continue.
That's a very fast women's time. That's Faith. Here she comes, finishing her race.
JV team around, probably around 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Yeah. And here we go. So 40 seconds between the two times, roughly. And now it's time for our final race of the day. The boys, 4x4 meter relay, varsity and JV together.
Again, in a whole Notre Dame race.
Justin Smith, Tyler Stewart, Michael Macias, all part of that team. Michael and Tyler, part of NDSN as well.
We can hear the official speaking from across the field.
I'm not sure if Chaminade is entering this race either, which might mean that the Notre Dame boys will run alone.
Big, 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 big points shown today by Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, your team has done pretty well this season.
Yes, I believe we have. You know, we're Mission League champs.
Pretty good.
Yep, if I do say so myself.
And Mission League is actually one of the fastest in the country.
Mission League is one of the toughest leagues. Yeah, so that's how you can tell we are a pretty strong track team.
And there's Tyler starting out. I don't know. I don't see anyone else he's competing against. So it'll just be Tyler in his own time.
Here we go. We're off.
Tyler's off, and he has no competitors but his own time.
Strictly running for time in this race, which is, like Michael said, extremely hard.
Looks like about 4 seconds off on the clock, so just add 4 seconds to wherever we are as we switch around. Sorry. There's the backside camera. So around 15 seconds in.
These distance runners can run pretty fast 400s because of their how long their training is, and cutting it down seems to be easy for them.
So Tyler running around 33 seconds. That's probably off, maybe 12, 10 seconds off, who knows. 46. This is a strong time no matter. Here comes the pass. So around just over 50 seconds it seems. And we start off on the second leg. Justin Smith now.
Justin Smith, an extremely strong runner. He's a 2-mile runner and the 1-mile runner. Every time I see him, he seems to be coming out on top.
Well, we're timing the race now up here in the booth, so we'll give you a little bit of a better idea. Obviously, that time a little bit fast, but still running a pretty fast race when they don't have any competition.
Roughly a 17-second split off the first 100.
So Justin Smith around the corner. Remember, the final race of the day and 2 more legs to go. Inside on the final stretch in front of the home crowd, which has thinned out considerably now because most people have run their races.
Yes, not many people run the 4x4, and not many people stay to watch the 4x4.
But it's one of the most exciting.
It is one of the most exciting races because usually when meets are extremely close in points, the 4x4 is what decides who wins.
Well, that split was around 54, 55 seconds.
That's a really fast time. And here we have Ethan. Ethan is a mid-distance runner, which means he's right in that 8 and 400 meter spot.
A fast time. He started off pretty fast, slowing down a little bit on the last lap.
A smile for the camera.
You know, everyone happy about the broadcast. This is our first ever track meet. A little bit rough, but hopefully next year, Neil, when you are part of that leadership team, we'll give some more great track meets.
Oh, of course. I look forward to it.
So his time now 44 seconds so far on his lap. And here comes Michael Macias, the anchor.
Yes, a lovely fellow broadcaster of ours.
So 52, 53. There's Michael.
He's off. Michael's PR in the 400 is a 49.3, so let's see what he pulls today.
And look at him go. He told me today he was running for the broadcast. Let's see how fast he can go.
Here he
Fast
comes.
split around the corner.
Here it comes.
By the way, that last lap at 54.70. Michael looks ready to run a good time.
It's
There's another smile. And towards our camera.
Yes, you can see before Michael was smiling, he was showing how he keeps his breathing under control. As a runner, that is an extremely hard thing to do because when you're tired and when you want to give up, your breathing starts to go out of control.
Here we go. 43 seconds. Now 47. Just a little bit off pace of his record time, but still running a fast lap. There's 50 seconds and time. So 54:36 for Michael. Obviously a pretty slow lap, but he waved at our camera, so you could tell he was out there having fun.
Still very fast. Still very fast, though.
Smiling more. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. That's our last race of the day, the 4x4 boys relay varsity race. No competition there, and really no competition today by Chaminade. However, they came up, they ran hard, and so did Notre Dame.
But good effort from all runners today. Congratulations, Knights.
Yep, thanks again for joining us. It was fun. I'm Peter Smith.
I'm Nia Brown.
And we were joined by our producer, Valentina, our camera people, Karen and Lily, our other anchor, David. Michael also pitched in. And so thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you next week when we broadcast boys volleyball varsity. I believe it's on Thursday. All right, thanks, and we'll see you next week.